Hey, everybody. Testing. Good evening, wonderful people. Uh, it is 6:30 here in Chicago, and wherever you're tuning in from, I just want to say welcome. Now, this is my first time going live on this particular channel about this particular topic, but hey, I'm here tonight, and if you watch it live, just let me know you're watching it live, and if you catch the replay, just type in replay. Now, I'm coming to you from this channel because we're going to be talking about getting your team back. And the reason why this is important to me is because I did this not only as a parent, I did this as an educator for about 2 decades. And so I sat with teens who didn't talk to their parents. I was a parent, and one of my teens tried to shut me out before. And so this is what I do it, and this is why I do it. This concept that I discovered when I was teaching. I applied it in my house. It worked there. It worked with thousands of people, students, hundreds of thousands across the nation. I quit teaching and uh, I talked to people like Fortune 50 companies, State Farm, Pfizer, Southwest, BP, Hallmark, Crayola, just to name a few of those. But let me tell you a little bit about me. My name is Curtis Ray Hill, and I am a professional speaker. I call myself a recovering educator. The reason why I say recovering is because I survived. I like to tell people I did 20 years hard time as a middle school teacher. I survived. I survived. Imagine being in eighth grade. You know what those feelings are like. You know what those feelings brought up for you emotionally, physically. You know what those feelings were all about. Imagine being in eighth grade, but imagine doing eighth grade every day for almost 20 years. That was me. Not as a student, 1 year as a student, and another 17, 18, 19 as an educator. And so in that process, I sat across from teenagers every day, some that other adults in the school system had written off, some who were uh, straight A students, some who read between 5 and 7 years below grade level. So I've sat across students of all ages. After I stopped teaching, I went on college tours and I spoke to college students all over America. I then trained educators on how to do this. I took classrooms filled with students that other people had given up on, filled with teenagers who had stopped talking to the adults in their lives. I took those same students reading 5 and 7 years below. I built this system, and this system helped those students not only reconnect in school, but reconnect to their loved ones, reconnect to the people who mattered the most to them. And so, on my first live today, I wanted to field or go over a few questions that keep coming up. They keep coming up. They keep coming up. And I wanted to share a little bit with you on these questions, how we can respond or what can we do when we're seeking help. Now, it is my goal, it is my intention to come to you for the next 7 to 10 days straight. Now, I got to tell you, due to my schedule, I probably will be coming on here at different times. So don't look for me. Don't look for me at the same time every single day because I won't be here at the same time every single day. But I can tell you this that I will be here for the next 7 days, sharing with you, sharing. So if you have any questions, you could just drop them on there. If you, I'm looking at my phone so that I can go and send you what I need to send you on here. But if you have any questions, any day of the week, you could drop them on here. And when I go live, I will talk about or answer to the best of my abilities the questions you have for me. So let me say this. One of the things that we deal with all the time is when parents and teens get disconnected from one another, uh, everyone tries to figure out whose fault it is. Is it the parents' fault? Is it the teen's fault? What if I told you it was no one's fault? What if I told you that uh, these things are a part of life and maybe they didn't happen to you when you were a teen? Maybe you stayed connected to your parent when you were a teen. But let me explain this to you. Teenagers today, 13 to 19 years old, teenagers today are dealing with more than I dealt with when I was a teenager in the 70s, well, in the 80s. I was a teenager in the 80s. So teens today, they have access to more information. They have access to more people. The world was different when I was growing up. And I want to say this before I get into those three questions. Uh, I want to say that transportation has changed. When I was a kid, we had cars. When my dad was a kid, they had cars. When his mom was a kid, they had horses and buggies or wagons. Communication has changed. When I was a child, we had this thing called a landline. There was a house phone with a crinkly cord or a rotary phone. Today we can FaceTime people all across the world. Okay? So everything has changed. Technology has changed. I remember having to write essays on a typewriter. Now we can speak an essay into a phone or a computer. So everything is changing, everything is growing, everything is doing something different. Why isn't our parenting doing that? I know a lot of you are going to say, well, that's what's wrong with these young people. Parents are too soft. They'll say, it worked for us. And my question is, did it really? Because uh, it really didn't work. We have the same things going on academically back then, criminally back then, but now we just talk about this particular generation. So let me delve into it. And so I'm pushing buttons over here because these buttons help me with asking these questions that I get that I want to answer for you all tonight. So the first question is, my teen used to tell me everything. Now I get one word answers and a closed door. I don't know what I did wrong. How do I get them back? Well, this question comes up over and over and over about the one word answer, about the teen going into the room or closing the door or jumping on his or her cell phone. And I want to give you 3 points or three answers about this, and make sure you write these down. Make sure you come back and you revisit this because they're going to be important. So, number one, the silence is almost never about what you did, it's about what you're bringing through the door every day without knowing it. Sometimes, as parents, we try to be for our teens what no one was ever for us, and that's a good thing. But also, with that, we bring baggage to the conversation. We bring baggage to the environment. We bring baggage with us, and we're not even aware of it sometimes. And when we bring this baggage with us, we show up with good intentions. That don't mean we're going to have great outcomes. There's a difference between intent versus impact. And sometimes the best intentions in the world don't land the way we want them to land. They don't. We try. So every day we're bringing something through the door with us without even knowing it. Like sometimes when your teen mentions to you something that's going on in their lives, and the first thing you say, well, when I was your age, you brought something to the conversation that had nothing to do with you. All they really wanted you to do was listen, but you took over that conversation, didn't you? You made that conversation about you. You gave them information that they never asked for. All they wanted you to do was listen. And so sometimes what I want you to understand is it's not about what you did, it's about what you are bringing. Now, the next thing that I want you to know about this is your teen didn't go quiet all at once. There was a specific moment. You may not remember it, but you probably don't, but guess what? They do. They remember the moment that this happened. They remember the moment you took over the conversation. They remember the moment you made their struggle about you. They remember the moment you gave them that unsolicited advice. And guess what? Teens keep a tracker. They do. They keep score. They do. Teens keep score. So you may not remember that specific moment. Doesn't mean that that moment did not happen. But you better believe your teen remembers. And the next thing I want to say about that is teens have a radar for desperation most adults don't even know exists. The harder you reach out for them, the more pressure they feel. So they have this radar. Teens and children are the best lie detectors in the world. They are. They can sense it. They sense your desperation. And your desperation smells like blood in the water to a shark. And so the harder you try to reach out for them, the more you show up, the more you say, I'm here for you, the more pressure they feel. The pressure to perform, the pressure to show up, the pressure to speak when they don't really even feel like speaking, the pressure of protecting your feelings while they're dealing with their own. That's a lot for a kid to manage. That's a lot for a teenager to manage. They're dealing with all kind of outside pressure that you didn't have to deal with. They're dealing with social pressure. They're dealing with trying to find out and discover who they are in the world that's trying to tell them to be this way or be that way. They have expectations to live up to from you and expectations of their own, expectations of other people who are connected and related to them, and they're carrying all of this. And so, what I want you to understand is when you have that desperation of we need to connect, we need to connect, we need to connect, you're wearing it like sweat, and sweat stings. The next question I get asked all the time is this one. I've tried giving space. I've tried pushing harder. Nothing works. Every time I try to connect, they pull further away. What am I doing wrong? See, it's always about what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? How can I fix this? And the truth of the matter, again, once again, you're making this entire thing about you. So here are my 3 points for you in this. Teens have a radar for desperation that most adults don't know exists. Yeah, this goes with this one as well because we're trying to pick up where our teens left off at or where we left off as parents. And the further they pull away, the more desperate we get. And the more desperate we get, the more we stink into them. And so what we continue to do is push harder. We try to be there more present for them. And sometimes it's not working the way that we want it to work and it backfires on us. Not only that, there's a difference between being present and being desperate. You can be present and not being desperate. One of those things will build connection, the other one don't. What does that mean to be present and not be desperate? See, when you are present, you're telling your team that no matter how you show up, I'm still going to be here. No matter what pressures you're carrying with you today, I'm here if and when you decide to talk. That's what being present is. But when you're desperate, you keep asking, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? We try to get them to put a name on a feeling that they're processing at the time. Do you know how difficult that is for a teen? You want them to put a feeling on something they haven't completely processed, or put a name on a feeling, I'm sorry, that they haven't completely processed. But the present parent, that's the one that's going to build a connection. We're going to wait. We're going to let them know that I'm here and you don't have to go through this alone. You'll go into a room with a teen who's processing something just so that teen don't have to be alone. Not to talk, not to connect, not to ask questions, just to be present. That's going to build the connection. The last thing that I want to share with you, parents who reconnect the fastest are never the ones who try the hardest. They're not. They're the ones who learn how to show up without needing anything back. I'm here. See how uncomfortable that was? I'm here. Then be quiet. Let them lead the conversation. Let them be the person that they want to be. Let them open the dialogue. What we try to do as parents is we try to fill silence with words. But words are not us being present. Words are the uncomfortable things that come out of our mouths into our teens' ears while they're yet processing their latest feelings or emotions. So, be present, but don't expect anything in return because the hardest thing to deal with is our own emotions. So, we take our teen's situation, we take our teen's struggles, and we make them about us. And it's hard when we can't connect with them. But the truth of the matter is, we're still processing as well. We don't want to be seen as a bad parent, so we hover. We don't want to be seen as the person who didn't try, so we try harder. Sometimes it backfires. And the last question I get asked, well, one of the most, these are the top three that parents are asking me. That one is, my teen is 16 and leaving for college in 2 years. We've never been close. Is it too late to fix this before they leave? This is powerful. This is powerful. Uh, I had 6 kids that were 16, not all at the same time. Not all at the same time. In fact, my baby boy, he's 19 and he's in college now. Um, yeah. So they want to know they there are a couple of things that we have to unpack here. One, the child is 16, right? Two, they're leaving in 2 years for college. Three, they've never been close. I don't want us to jump over this. I don't want us to jump over this. One, the child is 16. We don't know if it's a male, female. We don't know. We don't care. What I mean by we don't care is that's not relevant to the conversation. Two, they're leaving for college in 2 years. So, mom, dad, you did something right. You did something right. Three, we've never been close. What we have to learn how to do is start defining this word close. What does close look like in this relationship? What does close look like in this house? What is close? And who defines close? And is the definition of we're not close your definition or their definition? Are you judging it based on behaviors, actions, or conversations? Because I want to tell you this, between the ages of 13 and 17, teenage girls go through this moment, this period of time where every conversation is a tough conversation, right? So, what do? Well, the window is not closed. That's the good news. But it's smaller than it was. Those are not the same things. The window is closing. If the child is 16, they'll be 19. So you roughly have three and a half years before this teen is no longer a teen. So the window is not closed. But it's smaller than it was when that child was 13. It's smaller than it was when that child was 10. It's smaller than it was when that child was 5. I think you get the picture. Here's the truth. Doing something now matters. What you do over the next 30 days, what you do over the next 40 days, they matter. I seen a parent reconnect with her son 2 weeks before he went off to college. He graduated and they're thick as thieves now. It's not too late. So, next, the relationship you have with your teen at 18 is the foundation for every version of that relationship for the rest of their lives. Yeah. So you start building that so that when they leave at 18, you've laid that foundation. Because it's that foundation that you're going to build upon when they go to college. When they go to college, from this foundation, they call you without you calling them. They reach for you without you reaching for them. This is what present parents discover. We discover that we don't have to be our child's friend. None of my children will tell you I was their friend. I was friendly when I had to be, but I was a parent when I had to be as well. And so we laid that foundation. I sent 5 children to college. All 5 of those children, the youngest one being 19 right now, still in college. We love each other. We're still connected. This is the universal sign for connection when you're an educator. I'm connected to 6 of my kids. I only have 6, but 5 of them went off to college. Right? So that's what connection looks like. When they get 18, we're still connected. I think my oldest she was born in 92. Forgive me, I was a reading teacher. 33, 34 years old. 92, 26, 34 years old. 34 years old. Still connected. I have another one, 33. Still connected. I have one 31, still connected. I have two that are 30, no, 32, 33, 30, however old they are. We're still connected. 119, still connected. I was a parent when I had to be, and I was a foundation layer when I had to be. Now, I don't want you to think everything was always good. It wasn't. I had one of my daughters who 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 tried not to talk to me for whatever reason. But guess what? I was there when she came back. I had a daughter who wanted someone to spend a night, and I said no. Well, I ain't gonna talk to you no more. Cool. No, I didn't say. But we all go through those flare-ups. It's not the flare-up that defines your parenting. It's not the flare-up that defines your teen. It's what you do about it. How do you respond to these flare-ups? How do you bounce back without causing more damage? How do you be who you are without you being collateral damage? That's the foundation that we're going to discover throughout these live sessions. And the last point about that is you don't need months. You need one consistent daily practice in the right conversation at the right moment. Repair relationships with your teen. If you're the mom, nobody carried that child but you. Nobody went through the labor and the pushing of that child but you. Nobody was there to stay up late when the baby got sick but you. You spent your money. You spent your money feeding them, clothing them, housing them. You did. And I don't care how much time has passed. I don't care if you've never been close. The timing has never been more right than right now. So how old is your teen? 13? 16? 18? My teen is 19 years old. 19. And we're close. We're close. Has he made all the right decisions? Absolutely not. Have I made all the right decisions as a parent? Absolutely yes. No, I'm joking. No, I didn't. I didn't make all the right decisions. But it's not about making the right decisions all the time. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. That's what it's about. It's about not who you talk about showing up as. Who do you consistently show up as? One good day is not going to change the situation. It won't. But consistently, a daily practice, and the right conversation at the right time will change behavior in your house. It makes life for everyone in that house easier. So, those are my top 3 questions that I get all the time. Those questions, those are the questions that I get. How do I get my team back? What am I doing wrong? And is it too late? No, it is not too late. You get them back being consistent with one daily practice. And I'll talk about the daily practice tomorrow. Yeah. So listen, do me a favor. Um, Follow this channel. This channel is for parents, step parents. I don't really believe in step parents. Blended families. I have a blended family. I don't believe in all of these stepchildren. And what I mean by that is, I really don't use those terms. I believe they're your children, if you gave birth to them or not. And the connection is just as valuable whether you gave birth to them or not. And so this is for parents, guardians, grandparents, heads of household who want to get their teens back. This is what this channel is for. This channel is for reconnecting. So I get parents asking me all the time, well, what if I'm already connected? This channel is to help you stay connected, because I want you to think about this. Every problem that you solve creates for yourself another problem. Huh? Yeah? Every solution creates another problem. Let me give you an example. You don't like catching the bus, so you bought a car. Now that you have that car, you have to get maintenance done. That's a problem. The solution is you got off the bus. Now gas here in Chicago is $5 a gallon. So what I'm saying is, if you're not connected, I'm going to help you reconnect. If you're connected, you need this too. It's going to help you stay connected and further and deeper that relationship. You don't believe me? Google me. Google Curtis Ray Hill. You'll see. I'm an award-winning educator. You'll see it. You'll see it. You'll see that I've spoken for companies like State Farm. I showed you a video earlier. State Farm, Pfizer, Southwest. I've taken these same practices that I'm talking to you about, and I've helped Fortune 50 companies create a culture of belonging. That's my trademark. That's the foundation of what I'm going to be teaching you. That's my trademark. That's the foundation. I've taught them how to create environments where people feel noticed, named, known, and needed. And I'm going to teach you that. I'm going to teach that to you so that you can do it in your house, with your family, with your team. If you're watching this on the replay, let me know. But stay tuned, because I'm coming back tomorrow. The Bible says no man knows the day nor the hour. I don't know what time I'll be on here tomorrow, but I'm going to be on here. I'll post on my page. I'm going live in probably a time. But I can tell you I'll be on here tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going to talk about a daily practice. I'm going to tell you what I did as an educator to connect with students in minutes, hours, minutes and hours, minutes and hours. Okay? Peace. Till we meet again. Deuces.